here now. But the good news is that in the venture capital work we had done for the Planning Commission, we had already identified some very concrete ideas. And then, with this report and the work that Gopal and Sanjay and all of you have been doing for the private equity side as well, we've also been able to identify a series of very important initiatives that are necessary for the further growth of this industry. And as Mr. Das was saying, it's been in fact a very dynamic and interactive process whereby we have taken on many of these very important reform measures and in fact got quite a few of those done, Now, that like you, I've spent many years investing in India as an offshore investor. And in those 10 or 12 years that I've done that, if somebody had told me that we're going to take permanent establishment and really do away with that, I would not have believed it. Am I right or wrong? Yes, so we've got that done. Now there are, I know, some important clarifications. I want to make, in fact, a clarification on that permanent establishment point as well. But I want you all to pause and think. Mr. Das just went through some of the things that we've undertaken. In the last 1 year, if you look at that reform agenda that all of us as an industry had been working on, the work I've done in venture capital, the work you all have done in private equity, and you start to check the boxes, you'll find we've got something like 80% done. Am I right? Do you have to agree with that? So this is a huge step forward. I think it's a paradigm shift for the industry, and we should just take stock of that. We should just pause and recognize that, for the industry, this is a very momentous step forward. And I'll explain what the impact for India and what is it that actually drove that and why this is so important. Now, with just a quick clarification on permanent establishment, when we initially came out in the draft finance bill about how the permanent establishment norms were going to be treated, we essentially wrote them for people who were managing money in public markets, for mutual funds. That was obviously not broad enough, and during the period when the finance bill is debated and discussed in Parliament, between the two sessions for the budget discussions in Parliament, we recognized that we needed to broaden the scope. And in the finance bill, we have done that because we've included a series of funds, sovereign wealth funds and so on, as part of that set of funds that are not going to be impacted in permanent establishment. And as Mr. Das will tell you, we're very